All right, our next process, after putting on our arrowhead on our point here, we're going to do the fletching part. So we're going to need 3 fletchings. So 3 fletchings will come out of 2 feathers, which will equal 4, but you just use 1 for extra. So I'm using more of a wing feathers instead. And I'm going to measure them. They're going to be 5-inch fletchings. And I'm going to tie it down with sinew. In this process I'll be using artificial sinew, which I will tear off later on. Five there. 5 there. 5 inches and a buffer of about 1 inch when you start to peel it off. So this would be pretty easy. 1 in there. And the other in there. Other in here. So this is what it'll look like with the fletching at the end. So now we split these two right down the center. There's a little groove down the middle. There we go, we got 2 of them. Looking side by side and split down the middle. So there you go, you got 4 fletchings out of 2 feathers. I did a straight cut, a 1/2 inch from the center of the feather. So 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch, all straight. So that's what I wanted to make here. And so now, to tie it down, I'm going to use artificial sinew, which splits up multiple times. All right, there we go. It came out to 3 pieces here. So a knot at the end. And so when I pull this, it's going to actually close and it's going to set down. So the main fletching you have to tie first is the back one to get your setup. So usually I do about 1 inch from the notch of my arrow. So it'll be 1 inch from there to there. And so the way to tie this down, you're only going to use 3 fingers and a knot. 1, 2, 3. Then I wrap about 3 to 4 times, but I don't tie it. I just keep it on there so it will hold on now. I don't have to hold on to the feathers, but now I had to keep looking down the center line, and now I need to evenly spread them all out. Just keep looking down, just make sure they're spread out easy from the back. There we go. So they're nice and even now. So what I do is I hold here and I push down the feathers back down so I won't tie it up with the sinew. All right, there we go. I like to cover the end of the feather on both sides. So here I'm tying a knot so it won't untangle at the end. One more. Just make sure all the feathers are not overlapping each other. So this should pull, clamp down. There we go. So I just wrapped it about 3 or 4 times. Now I have to tie a knot here so they won't move as I push the feathers forward and up. I'm trying to get it as close as possible to the shaft without having space or gaps in between the feathers. There we go. Now this part is the main important part where you have to use a sinew to cover this front part so it won't catch on to your skin here when you're sliding it off. So you cover it up how we cover the end of this arrow here also. So this is the main part where you have to cover this end so it won't scratch you when you're shooting the arrow. And so we just cover it up. There we go. Now we just cut off the rest of the slack. Okay. There we go. Nice and even, down straight. There we go, nice and straight. And from the other end. There's always a center line. And when you get that, you balance it on your finger to see which side is heavier than the other. And so you have to, at the same time, you're thinking about the weight ratio of your arrow. Since you said it was right in the middle, a perfect shooting arrow. There we go. Perfectly balanced arrow.